Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Round Circle with your host, the Fifth General, Zaccheus and Cinemascapes. What's good, y'all?
Yeah,
it was good.
All right. So, it's been a while since we did an episode, but we're back. Check this out. We've had a lot going in hip-hop news. Rhapsody dropped a dope album.
Yeah.
Yes.
Little Brother came back and did an album together. It's been like close to 9 years or whatever since they done one. That was a nice joint too. Looked like some good things going on for hip hop in North Carolina. I gotta shout out to both of them, both Rhapsody and both Little Brother. Those two, Fonte and Big Pooh. Shout outs to them. Shout outs to Knife Wonder. Go ahead, Zaccheus.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zaccheus. Zaccheus, go ahead.
That could that they don't have to show her sexiness. Just she actually got she got skills. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
She's dope.
That's
man.
what I wanted to say. Yeah,
She's dope.
man. So
she's
big
been
up to Rhapsody, man.
Here's the thing. She's been dope. I'm just glad that she's getting more notice right now, and she's getting it in a tough climate for hip hop, not just for hip hop for females, but she's getting a climate of hip hop. Period. I mean,
In general,
let's just keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
Females are not a priority in hip hop. Quote unquote hot girl. She dropped an album during a hot girl summer season, which is nonsense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's hard it's hard for a female artist to display her skill and actually get her skill respected when you have the Cardi B's and the men.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj says she's gonna fall back and retire and just focus on doing her radio show, on Apple Music, Beats One channel, whatever the heck, if I'm saying it right. No disrespect, I'm just not in my mind right now. Queen Radio. So
big up to her. Definitely big up to
I'm not a fan of her, but respect to her. I mean, she's made her mark on this industry. We can't take that from her. So it is what it is. If that's what she wants to do and start a family, as a woman, she should be able to do that. As a man, you should be able to do that too. You want to take a break from music and focus on your family. You're a human being just like I am. You know what I mean? You got that right.
Yeah.
Do I think she officially retired? No. I think this is more of like a Jay-Z retirement, meaning I'm gonna take a break and then I'll be back. That's what Jay did. You know what I'm saying? Did the Black album and then came back with Kingdom Come years later. So,
Right.
Right. She's just, you see this scene, you take a break.
Yeah.
And you see what's up. And, if you get that spark again, Yeah. But back to Rhapsody's album. That thing.
Yeah.
I was just.
But when I first heard
album's fire.
I was sitting from a road trip because remember I was away.
Yeah, and
I was driving home and I put that thing on.
Yeah,
A to Z.
Yeah,
so, I was like, yo, fire.
I gotta give her a lot of respect. I'm gonna ask you something, Cinema, because this was kind of unplanned because we wasn't even gonna even talk about Rhapsody, but do you get? I'm gonna name these artists. And I'm going to ask you which vibe you get, or a combination of vibes from here. And I'm going to name these artists. MC Lyte, Lauryn Hill, Queen Latifah, Rod Digger, and I'm missing somebody, but out of those I named. And Eve. And Foxy Brown. I even throw Foxy Brown in there. Yeah. Does Rhapsody give you, even though she has her own style, but out of the female artists that I mentioned, does she give you vibes of any of those artists or a combination of a few?
Mostly to me, Light. How I used to listen to Light.
Yeah.
Because Light was, it's like Light was an MC on her own despite what else was going on. The same way Rhapsody is.
Yeah,
and Light always bought something that was fresh and new. And that's what I feel Rhapsody did.
Yeah.
You know, and she even hit some other styles that you didn't expect her to hit, and she killed it.
Yes.
And I'm like, dang, you know, she just displayed, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Gosh, she's just God.
Versatile.
Yeah, her versatility. She just, and then she also displayed lyricism.
Yeah.
And you know, her songwriting, her ideas, her thought process is just like, wow. So like the way lines hit you and how concepts hit you, her how she puts together concepts, it's not only just like, it's ridiculous and it's layers. It's not just, it's not linear. That's what I was looking for. She's not linear. She has layers.
Yeah,
and so her lyrics make sense on different levels. So she can hit you on every level. And that, you know, that's unique to MC to begin with. But you know,
I think she's dope. I think she is.
Yeah, man.
I think she's doper than a lot of men. So this is just this is where I get the Lauryn Hill vibe. I do get the more MC Light, yes, because I said this to one of my friends, and I said, "Yo, I'm getting a MC Light kind of thing from her." But then I get the Lauryn Hill vibe as far as her wordplay, her skill, and her consciousness. I get a Lauryn Hill vibe because of that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I can agree with that 100%.
Right. You know.
So, but I'm saying the first thing that hit me was like that light ruggedness, like I am who I am.
Yes.
And then she hits you with that consciousness with that. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
And I'm so happy. And I'm so happy for her.
I am.
Like,
I'm proud of what she's done with this project. I really am.
If you see her performing out, she's ready.
Oh yeah.
She's prepared and she's killing it. Everywhere you see her, she's killing it.
Well, see, she's getting props from the hip hop as a culture.
Yeah.
Is respecting her right now. And she's had this for a while. I mean, her last album, Layla's Wisdom, that was a very good album too.
Yeah, yeah.
This one, this one, Eve, tops the last one. And that's not and that took work because Layla's Wisdom was a really good album. So for her to put this out is saying something. And I'm glad she put it out on the scale that we're able to see it. Now, Zaccheus, what did you think about the album real quickly? And then we got to move on to our subject.
Well, I streamed. I like the video that she did with Reza.
Jizza, you mean?
Jizza.
Yeah.
Jizza.
That song is dope. That song is dope.
I always liked the way Liquid Sword. I thought that concept, the whole concept was.
Yeah. Shout outs to Jizza for getting on that record. That was.
Yeah, that was
definitely paid homage to Jizza's first album and that single. I mean that was great. That was great.
And what she's doing, and she's bringing that real hip hop back into hip hop again. That's what she's doing, and she's trying to say that real lyricism and real lyrical skill matters in hip hop. When you listen to her music, it's not like. You're not listening to trap music. You're listening to you'll think that she's a blast from the 90s. You know what I'm saying? When you listen to her.
Yeah. Well, she's about my age. Well, she's a little older than me, and she's a little young, and she's younger than y'all. So she comes from she's not too far removed from the boom bap era. So I can understand why she sounds the way she does. You know, I think people think she's in her 20s. No, she's in like her mid 30s. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Well, here's the thing. She been doing this for years. She been trying to get on.
Yeah.
So you know, she has about like I think 4. This might be like her 4th album, if I can get this right. I mean, she had like EPs and stuff and mixtapes. So I don't want to confuse any of that, but this might count as her 3rd studio album or second one. It's hard for me to tell because she's had like EPs before that. You know what I'm saying? And she got people's attention with Layla's Wisdom, but she got more people's attention with this album. You know, and I think a lot of it's because, Knife Wonder made a joint venture with Jamla and Rock Nation. You know, Jamla's Knife Wonder's record label, so that gave more. The budget to promote it and everything was more on this album because of the affiliation between Jamla and Rock Nation for this album. So that helped out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of her. She doesn't even have to. She could actually chill on this album for a while. She ain't got to rush to make another one. She could let this one breathe, and then the next thing she comes out with, I'm sure it'll be of quality. I mean, she has producers. She has producers in her corner, so I don't think there'll be an issue of production. I don't think she'll ever have that issue. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all when it comes to Rhapsody. I'm not worried about her music at all. I don't worry about her. I think she's gonna be just fine, but I think she should let this one breathe. It's hard these days when you do an album because the attention span of a lot of listeners is shorter because of the way that we consume music these days. So they're gonna already forget about the album. I hate that, but it never was like that years ago. Years ago, you did an album, and that album you was able to breathe off of that for 10 years. I think if it was a great album, you could do that. If it was like a great to classic album, I mean, you had some album. Wait, hold on. I'm being actually too crazy. Not 10 years, at least 5 years. A good 5 years you had to let an album breathe before you had to do another one.
Right. I'll give you a good example of that. Yeah. Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation, where practically every song was almost a single.
Well, see, now if we're gonna go that far back.
No, I'm just saying as an example.
No, I get you.
Wise, but I'm saying that's how, if your album was fire, it was on there and they were just pulling from it, you begging for another video. If it was that good, because you were in the A to Z. And the quality of albums, complete albums, are not up unless you're with certain artists. Most people have singles and fillers. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
And this is an album, you don't have fillers. It's just a quality album.
Yeah. And And you know what? I think she has earned the right to chill a little bit if she wants to. After doing this album, she could tour this thing. She could do features. I think we should see more features from her. Because, see, that's a thing that we used to have all the time. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Your favorite artist dropped a dope record, a dope album, dope singles for the album. And then when he wasn't doing an album, he or she showed up on other people's stuff until they were ready to do their album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
You was able to enjoy that back then.
Right.
Back then it was back then it was like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I mean, I don't even, sometimes you get sick and who listens to the radio now? Because the thing is that, whatever plays on the radio is it's politics and what they play, because you see Rhapsody's music and Ghostface Killer's album and music.
Yeah.
You're not hearing airplay, but it's like, that's why a lot of us cats don't even like tune into radio. Only just for talk. If it's a talk radio, then we're tuning into the talk radio. But anything else for music,
right?
Nah.
It's here today, going tomorrow. That's pretty much where it is. If it's not up to the quality, it's here today, going tomorrow. So yeah, shout outs to her.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Little Brother. Ghostface dropped his album Ghostface Killers over this weekend. Actually, it was a couple days before. It kind of took a while to get to certain streaming platforms, but he released it.
It came out 13th on Apple.
Right, exactly. He released it on his website. Then it came on the streaming services later on. It came to Tidal Sunday. So
different days for each streaming
different days for different streaming platforms. Also want to mention Joel Ortiz. His album dropped about a good 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good album too. I think it's called.
Joel Ortiz.
I think it's called Monday. Dope music. There's been some good music within this month. If I'm missing anybody, I apologize, but I just wanted to kind of mention some notable stuff throughout the time since we've been gone, since we haven't done an episode in a while. So now let's get to the subject. So this past weekend, well, let's see, today's the 17th. So this was like the 14th or the 15th? Say probably the 15th, right? Saturday night into Sunday, Saturday night.
Yes.
Yeah. So when it airs, it'll be last weekend.
Right. So Revolt TV, a network that is, well, it's not 100% owned by Diddy, but let's just say Diddy's involved. He has less control today than he did when the channel launched. Let's just say that. He's probably part owner now. And I'm not saying it to be disrespectful. I'm just stating a fact.
Right.
So they had a summit panel called Trap the Vote. I don't know why. I hate that name. Trap the Vote, Hip Hop and Politics.
Right.
So this was more about black folks in their position when it comes to voting this time, for the 2020 election. Should we have a black agenda? What is a black agenda? What do we put in the black agenda? Who's included? Who's excluded? You know what I'm saying? So let's get to the facts here. So on the panel we had Tamika Mallory, T.I., Killer Mike, Katrina Pearson, who worked on Trump's campaign back in 2016. Candace Owens, you know her based off her coming to Kanye's aid when Kanye said slavery was a choice. I mean, that's basically what she's known for. She ain't known for nothing else other than that. She came out of nowhere. Stephen Parget, whatever I'm saying his name, of Dream Defenders. Never heard of dude, just keeping it real. And he didn't really have much to add to the conversation anyway. And then it was hosted by Jeff Johnson. Those who through the years watch BET know who Jeff Johnson is, okay?
Oh yeah, I know he is, yeah.
Right, journalist, he's kind of, people know him just like they know Torre, for those who know who Torre is. So, all right. Let's just get into why this happened. If anybody's been paying attention to the news, I know it's hard to, but you got to know what's going on. You need to know what's being said. You need to know what's being said about you.
Right.
That's just how it is. I don't like to watch the news half of the time because it's bull crap. But at least you know what's being said about your plight. You know what I'm saying? There's been a big conversation about reparations lately, reparations in America. Reparations is something that, let's just get into this. So, reparations in America. Now, the islands have to get reparations too from who owes them, and that would be whoever who controlled some of those islands. Now, let's get specific. So, you have Caribbean islands that were owned under the British. So any of those islands, you have to get reparations from the Queen of England.
Yes.
Okay? Now, Haiti, owned by France, so they have to get reparations from France. You know what I'm saying? I have to name them. Any of the islands, because they deserve reparations too, but they have to get it from who ruled them. Now, let's talk about America.
Right.
So here in America, if you were a descendant of a slave born in America, then your reparations comes from this nation. It only makes sense. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm for reparations for this nation, but then I'm also in the support of reparations for other nations that they're entitled to as well. So let me get that out the way. Mm-hmm. And I have to say that because our brother Zaccheus, his family is from Guyana. So whoever who ruled Guyana, he's entitled, him and his family is entitled for the reparations that for those who ruled Guyana. And that would be what? Yeah. The British?
The British, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And his wife, I'm not going to say her name, her family's from Haiti. So any reparations that she's supposed to get in her family is supposed to be from France. Okay? Mm-hmm. Just want to make sure that's said before, we get into our topic about reparations. Because reparations is a big thing. Because there are people who are trying to dictate what people should get here, and they're not from here. I don't like that. You got people, you got other immigrants that are immigrants to this nation talking about what black people shouldn't get here in America. No, how dare you? Because you wouldn't like it if we did that to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no way Italian and Irish and Korean immigrants should be speaking on black reparations. Ain't that right, Cinema?
Nah.
Exactly. They shouldn't be. Exactly. Hold your tongue. And then Africans too. Yeah, I'm going there. If you from Ghana,
Senegalese,
Morocco, Sierra Leone, stay out of this. Mm-hmm. Because this don't have nothing to do with you.
Right.
Just saying. And then if you want to get technical, Africa owes us reparations too. Oh, what? I'll unpack that. Any African country or African nation or African government, kingdom or whatever at that time, who willingly, not all of them willingly did this, I want to tell the truth. The ones who willingly participated in the slave trade, they have to pay reparations too. Yes. But they have nothing to give. But that don't mean they still don't owe. That still doesn't mean they can't owe, that they have to owe anything. Okay, that's probably another conversation for another time. Probably a whole nother podcast. But it is what it is. Now on to this panel. Sorry, I'm long-winded. Wayne, you saw it. Oh, I'm sorry, Zaccheus said your real name.
Zaccheus.
Cinema, you saw it. Well, you said you saw clips. Okay.
Yeah, I was busy this weekend.
That's all good.
I caught up on clips and highlights and stuff. So
yeah.
Right.
That's where I'm coming from. So if I miss something, yeah.
So let me first state my position, and then I'm gonna get straight to Cinema. I'm sorry, straight to Zaccheus. My position on this panel was out of order. I think there are certain people that shouldn't have been on that panel, and I'll name the three of them. Katrina shouldn't have been there. Candace shouldn't have been there, and Stephen Parjet shouldn't have been there. Stephen, the only reason why I say Stephen shouldn't have been there, because he didn't add anything to the conversation
at all.
He was a spectator for the most part.
I was.
You know what I'm saying? He was just sitting there, and when he did say something, there was nothing to it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this was about voting. Now, for those who've heard me on Mrs. Z and Fifth, I said that my vote, I said that I've been holding my vote for years now because I haven't found a candidate that is going to vote on any issues pertaining to the black agenda at all. And until then, I won't vote because I'm tired of you saying that you want to do something, but then you tell black people, well, I'm not the politician for black America. I'm the politician for everybody. The problem is when you say that, that's your way of saying I'm the politician for everybody but y'all. Because we see everybody else's issues being addressed when you want their vote, but when you want our vote, you don't address our issues. And that goes for both parties, especially the Republican Party. But the Republican Party and the Democrat Party are not doing anything tangible for black people in America. They are not. So because of that, I haven't been voting. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. So I hold my vote hostage right now. So Killer Mike said, you know, in the thing, we have people up here arguing for who has the best slave master. I know exactly what he meant when he said that. He said get off both. He said get off both plantations. Because Candace said that black people on the Democrat plantation. She has this thing. She's trying to prove so hard that all black people are Democrats. That's a huge lie. Her talking points were Republican talking points from Fox News. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not with any party, and I have a nickname for both of them. You know, I call them the Republicans and the Demorats. You know what I'm saying? So Zaccheus, what was your whole thought about this whole show? I mean, about this summit, man. What you think about the panel?
Well, I looked at it thoroughly, and I studied I studied Killer Mike's address because I know where Killer Mike is coming from. Killer Mike is coming from and say, listen, yeah, you're coming from two plantations, but let's build our resources. Let's get a little here, a little there, and let's pool our resources together and come up with a solution to help our community. Mm-hmm. Now, Candace Owens is, to me, she was an Agent 45 supporter from the jump. Yeah. From the start, because the first thing she came up with this tool is that, well, we have to address. I don't know if you heard this clip from Cinema. She said we have to address the single mothers in the home, the black single mothers in the home. She ran with that, and she was trying to take it. She was trying to take it. So okay, yes, black people unity, but also the single black mothers in the home. She brought that up, and she also brought up that our folks are nothing but Democrats. All Democrats want to get our vote and then leave us with nothing. Okay, I somewhat agree.
She was right about that. Yeah.
I agree with that, because it doesn't make sense voting Democrat, and getting the same issue.
Yep.
Same results. The same results, but nothing is changing in our community. There's no upliftment. There's no change in our agenda, so we can start building things to help our community up. It's the same old. Okay, I agree with that. And so T.I. So I looked at T.I. and I said, T.I. is he's coming from a black people of upliftment. Let's build businesses. Let's just try to incorporate businesses and pull our resources together, because we do need resources. But he also saying that that we have different agents fighting against building our resources up. We have different, white supremacies fighting against building our resources up. Okay, so I'm for T.I. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then we have Katrina on the far, I think she was on the far right.
Jesus.
Yeah. Now, was that the sister that was saying that we should that she was also a Trump supporter too. I think one
Big
of them
time.
was a Trump
She was
supporter.
on TV all the time.
Yeah, see, but also time saying that people always blame Trump for this, blame Trump for that, blame Trump. I said, first of all, if you're gonna support Agent Orange like that, then you don't even need to be up there because we're trying to build something. This conversation was all about let's see what we can do to help circle businesses around our community. Let's see what we can do to help uplift our community and build and try to help our brothers and sisters out there. But when I see her talk, and I see her and Candace talk, and I'm like, oh wow. Well, I know what Jeff Johnson was trying to do was trying to say, okay, yes, we're all in this together, but we do have different thoughts, we do have different minds, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to do that. But it was a lot of coon juice up there, I have to admit, man.
Yeah, there was a lot
man, but Killer Mike was the one that was the man that really kind of like say, okay, stop dancing around these plantations. We keep doing this. Democrats and Republicans.
Republicans. Yeah.
Cans.
Republicans and Democrats. That's what I call them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Let's pull
saying?
it together and let's build our resources. Let's pull it together. Okay. But
Well, listen.
Candace Owens.
I think Killer Mike, T.I., and Tamika.
And then what got me upset,
Yeah.
I have to put this in.
Yeah, go ahead.
What got me annoyed and upset with Candace Owens is when she said that there's slavery all around the world. Like
just accept it.
Yeah.
Like,
accept it.
Yeah, but T.I. shut it down.
I'm like,
yeah, he
exactly.
shut it down.
He shut it down. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you who shut both of them. Killer Mike shut both Katrina and Candace Owens down when he mentioned that slave master thing.
Yeah.
Katrina was quiet after that.
Right, because that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
He's right on the fact that, in capitalism,
Yeah.
the only thing people pay attention to is money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're producing your own, then you get a seat at the table.
Exactly.
I totally agreed with that. A lot of the other stuff, if you're going to have a summit like that, don't bring the political jargon in there. We want real answers and real solutions.
Well, yes, but you need people in the area of expertise on the topic of the panel. That's a problem too.
Back to your point.
Exactly.
At the beginning.
Exactly.
When you have, it's like you have no business there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're having Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and then Mickey Mouse is sitting in the room. Like, for what?
Shoot. Yeah.
That's
at
and
a
I
place.
think that's a real comparison. That's really the same.
Exactly. It's out of place.
What credibility do you have in these areas? What have you do it? When you see T.I., you see Big Mike, you see some of the other people. You see people who are proactively already doing this.
Exactly.
Right.
Who've been doing this.
Exactly.
And preaching this and not just coming for a summit to just mouth off.
I want to give Tamika a shout out because Tamika said, instead of us, and this is something that I've echoed years ago, she said instead of supporting Democrats or a Republican or any other party that we've been seeing run for office, that we need our own party.
I always felt that too.
And forget a seat at the table. Forget their table. We should have our own table.
Our own table. And we talked about that when I even mentioned on one of these shows, I don't even have a party for pro-life because one wants to kill him before and one wants to kill him after.
Exactly. So basically nobody. So both of them are not for pro-life. Both of them are not. If that's the case, neither one of them.
Because they're killing somebody at some point.
Yeah.
One's letting the police gun them down in the streets when they're already alive, and one's killing them in the womb.
Yeah.
They're both murderers.
Exactly. Thank you.
It's just at a different time.
Exactly.
I'm like, and then you're going to point at him, well, you won't save him in the womb, and you won't save him in the street. You're both hypocrites.
Speak on it. Speak on it.
And you know, that's why we really wanted to have this caucus. We didn't want an agent of 45 there. We really wanted, you know, real solutions.
We wanted to open the panels for solutions and talk about real things, you know.
And I mean, you can discuss, but then it's like grandstanding is terrible because there's really no results from grandstanding.
Yeah.
There's no work you can do from grandstanding. It's just proving you're right in your own eyes.
Well, that happened in that whole panel.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. There was grandstanding all around.
Right, and that's, you know, if I got that from clips, imagine.
Yeah, but my concern is, and then I'm gonna give y'all the floor for the rest of the show. My concern is because there were the subject is important, but the message that was laid after it wasn't fully communicated and unpacked to the ability that everybody could take and digest and understand and put into action. That was my big problem with that, because some people watched it and all they got from it was entertainment because of what happened between Candace and T.I. So I hate that a subject that was so important and all you got out of it was people.
Memes.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask Zaccheus first. Okay.
Yeah.
Now they were talking about, you know, voting. They also talked about immigration. They also, you know, there was a lot of talking points that came from mainly Candace that was at a hand. Katrina mentioned something about what Donald Trump has done for black people. She called them opportunity zones. Listen to me. When people look deeply into that, and T.I. mentioned it, he said, what you're talking about, Jeff Johnson said, to me, that just sounds like another form of gentrification, because there are certain things that needs to be in play for people to get it. And the people who live in those neighborhoods don't have the resources to take advantage of those opportunity zones. And the one thing that T.I. said, you need gains capital tax.
Right.
People who live in these neighborhoods don't have that. So the problem is you get people from other neighborhoods, just like what's been going on since the 70s.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's basically what you're saying is, we're just gonna, if we thought gentrification was bad, we about to really make it bad. So what's your opinion, Zaccheus, when she talked about opportunity zones and all this other stuff that she said that Trump put into play?
Well, first of all, you have to see where the source is coming from.
Yep.
Agent 45. Now, you have to understand that.
Boom.
That when he does things, it's not like one time. It was one time when they was talking about we're gonna get some prison reform. But who does that benefit?
Thank you.
That's what you got to think about.
Thank you. And we'll see as the time goes on. We could guess who it benefits, but we'll see.
Who's really benefiting from these opportunities that she is talking about? You know, she's not looking into that. She's just looking at, he's doing this for black folk. No.
Yeah, just because you say a lie so many times, don't make it true.
Don't make it true
at all.
I could say I'm giving you $1,000 next week. Are you gonna get it? No.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta see where the source is coming from, and we gotta now. On the other hand, now when Katrina was saying a lot of stuff, man, but you have to understand when it comes to a Trump supporter will only whatever comes out the mouth of a Trump supporter. The Trump supporter was gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is what he said. This is what he said. I'm gonna go along and I'm gonna run with it. One word Agent 45 says, and they run with it. They don't understand. They don't take their time to say, okay, well, look where it's coming from. You have to understand that that when you look at our history, we're the only folks that have our names stricken from us, our religion stricken from us,
culture,
our culture, and who we are.
Yeah.
The only thing we have superficial is our skin color. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is we don't have that. We don't have that root.
Yeah.
We can't. You see, when you look at Hispanics, they can come together and they can speak Spanish, and you look at Italy, look at other cultures that wasn't pulled from their land, and they have their culture. They knew where their culture come from. We were stricken from our land, and we don't know where we don't know exactly where we come from.
That's true.
Our name, our religion, everything.
Yeah.
So we're only going and we're only abiding on what we get from the Western, this civilization right here, Babylon, what the Rastafarians call it.
Yeah.
We only, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So when I hear women like Katrina and I hear Candace talk about the support of Trump and immigrants, I'm like, look at these, you know, they're just. I'm sorry to say, brothers, but they're just sipping on too much coon juice out there, man. And I'm just saying, yeah.
And I'm gonna hand this to my brother Cinema.
Like this, man.
I'm sorry,
I know, I heard it in the background, and I'm gonna hand this to my brother Cinema. That we're gonna have to close out, and then we're gonna have to close out the show. Is that?
I gotta get a breather from that.
No, that's all right. So here's the thing. You know, Tamika was very calculated. What she said. She said, we need to be careful with this going to the table talk, because you can't have people who look like us trying to play nice with white supremacy.
Exactly.
Now let's speak on that, because to me, pro-black is about being against anything that is anti-black, and what's anti-black is white supremacy.
Right.
You know, so anything that is opposing black people, you can't let that sit with you. And Candace and Katrina are trying to basically convince black people, what else do you have to lose? Just go ahead and try this and see what works.
Let me unpack this.
Yes,
please.
First of all, let's start with New York. Because there's a reason why me and you can't even live there. Because if you didn't own a home, the rents, these opportunity zones, the rent's so absorbent, you can't even afford to stay there.
Speak on it.
And the food prices are up.
Speak on it.
I mean, it's so, you know, I ain't putting people's business out, but some people own property, so they were able to stay.
Yeah.
But if you didn't own property in New York, there's a massive amount of us everywhere. I ran into New Yorkers in West Virginia, dude from straight Brooklyn, thick accent. I couldn't stay there anymore. You know? Yeah. That's how it is.
Facts.
You know, New York is run by transplants. That's why even on Facebook, when you talk to New York groups and say certain things, they get mad because they're living there. Like, you wasn't born there.
Yeah.
Y'all stole that from us.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happening to every metropolitan city.
Facts. Facts.
And so if you're going to get on that tip with them, you're going to get pushed out to the country. Yeah. But they do that all the time. My family came from the country to the city. They got pushed out of the country to the city. Yeah. Then you get pushed out to the country. Then our kids would be pushed back to the city. They just moved around like herds of cattle. Because now the supremacists want to live in the city.
Yeah.
Get out.
Reverse.
Now we want to live in the country.
Reverse.
Back in there.
Reverse white flight. That's what you're talking about. Reverse white, because white flight was about that. Now it's reverse white flight, where they're coming back and they're saying, "Get out."
Exactly.
You know?
And now we want. You know, New York's going to be a 1% town. You know,
either that, or it's going to go bankrupt like Detroit.
And then that's going to be terrible for New York.
No, that's not going to be great at all. There's too many people there. Too many people there.
New York is like how many times? New York is 5 cities.
Yes.
Literally. New York City is 5 cities.
8 million plus residents, but that's not even included the people who work there. If you count the metro, that's other millions that are coming in just to commute in there to work and then go back home to Connecticut and Jersey and and other places. Pennsylvania, people are driving from Pennsylvania to get to Manhattan to work.
Take the Amtrak.
Ain't that crazy?
Yes, that's crazy.
But that's how it is.
Yeah.
And so, if you don't have sustainable stuff for people to live there, we're talking about maybe 2-3 years ago, there was an article about a guy who worked for a city. He couldn't even afford to live anywhere. He was living out of his car, working for New York City.
Oh, I'm not surprised. The homeless shelters have plenty. Okay.
Same thing. Yeah, I know that too.
Yes.
The homeless shelters got people who work for the city. Because they can't afford to live in the place.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
To push us out. They're pushing us out.
And that's the whole thing. And they're pushing everybody out. And so you got these transplants in there thinking, oh, this, that. And I'm like, okay, you can stay there for the collapse. That's fine. You think what happened in Detroit and other cities isn't going to happen there?
Yeah.
If there's no real income made and people can't live there, what happens? And so when you bring that to the table, and you bring their agenda to the table and all those things, you cheapen us.
Yeah, you do. You do.
You really cheapen.
And if they don't cut it out,
and that's why you do got to make your own table. And if you want to come, you got to come to our table and deal.
There you go.
We got to be self-sufficient.
That's what I'm talking about.
And the whole thing
you have to be. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about education. Our education has not even progressed. Our education is still back where it teaches you how to be a factory worker and a tradesman.
A slave.
And and those days are over. But that's been the education system forever. It's still back in the days. Even when you're trying to digitize it, and people are fighting it. And I'm like, moron. This is where we are now.
Zaccheus, go ahead real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Years ago, cinema, when we were in school, they used to teach you carpentry. They used to teach you how to cook, teach you these things, but they took it out of the school. You know why? Because it was set in the system for us to depend to work for the supremacies, for work for the man. It was already programmed and already set in the stage was already set for us to work.
Right. The mind. Yeah.
The man, yes. To work to be a factory worker.
And that's the mindset. Yeah.
You go to college, and when you graduate from college, you're only getting a certain amount to only work for a boss. You have to this is where we come in. This is why it was important to have this panel, because we gotta pull it, just like the Jews. We gotta pull our resources together and know what it really is. We need to bring back another Wall Street again.
Yeah,
we need to bring back another Black Wall Street again, like Tulsa had.
Yeah, exactly. And look, we're gonna get up out of here, but this probably needs more time. We will on Mrs. Z and Fifth. We will have an episode dedicated to the Black agenda. And we'll have our brother Cinema on that episode.
Can I say one more thing before we go off?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because when we did have governments and we were in governments in Wilmington and North Carolina in 1898, white supremacists came and removed the government.
Hello.
How about
in Wilmington, North Carolina. And it's not known. And these things are coming out. And if you went down there to look it up, you weren't allowed to.
Wow.
And that stuff was under lock and key. And so it's 1898. And most of the people in that town in government were Black.
See?
And the Klan came in and overthrew the government of a city. And nothing was done. And that's part of America's dark past. Nobody wants you to know that those girls are over there with them. That's what you're promoting.
Okay.
See?
All right.
Yeah.
See?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut.
I know we're out of
time.
Yeah,
it is.
But we'll hit this again.
We'll hit this again. We're gonna on Mrs. Z and Fifth, because that's coming back in we're approaching the half season of the Round Circle season 2. and second half of Mrs. Z and Fifth is gonna come back. We're gonna do an episode specific about basically what this panel should have been. So we're gonna have an episode about voting in the black community and voting with the purpose and how the black agenda ties into the black vote, whether necessary or unnecessary. Exactly. So we will talk on the things that we feel that we need, okay? And we'll touch on that later. So we're going to have to close this out. Zaccheus, where can they reach you?
Yo, you can hit me up on Instagram, Zaccheus, Zacchus, Zaccheus B73. You can also hit me up on Twitter, Wayne, at Wayne Bacchus 2 on Twitter. Also on Facebook, Wayne Zaccheus Bacchus on Facebook. Bless.
Zaccheus, where can they reach you? Cinema, where can they reach you?
Cinemascapes on Twitter, Cinemascapes and Cinemascapes Music on Instagram, Cinemascapes Music on Facebook. That's right. And nowhere on MySpace.
All right, y'all can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Fifth General. All right, this was another episode of the Round Circle, episode 13 to be exact, season 2. All right, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.